We Are One Body Audio Theater presents Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll.
And 3 plus 2 is?
5.
Right. And 3 times 6 is?
I don't know. 9?
No, not quite.
Mother, we've been at this all day. Who would want to know all of this information? Where 2 plus 2 always equals 4. Every time. And the same goes for 2 times 2. And there's never any variant or novelty.
As you grow older, you'll come to appreciate knowing things for certain.
I don't understand the point of this lesson book. It doesn't have any pictures, and it doesn't have any characters in it.
This book has all the very things that all little girls need to know as they become big girls.
But I'm not a big girl, and perhaps I don't want to be one either.
That is going to happen whether you want it to or not.
I don't think I do. Did you see that, Mother?
See what?
How curious. That white rabbit has a watch in its waistcoat pocket. Not to mention the fact that it's even wearing a waistcoat.
Oh dear, I shall be late.
What could it possibly be late for?
Alice, what on earth are you talking about? I don't see anything.
Over there. Oh, he's hopping away. I'll be right back, Mother.
Alice, what about your lessons? Alice! Alice!
Mr. Rabbit, slow down. Oh, you'd think with such long ears he would hear me. Perhaps he's just ignoring me. Mr. White Rabbit! The rascal went down this hole, but it can't get away from me. What a dreadfully deep hole. I wonder what's going to happen next. In any case, after a fall as long as this, I shall think nothing of tumbling down the stairs. Everyone back home will see how brave I am. Why, I wouldn't say anything even if I fell off the roof of the house. I wonder how many miles I've fallen by now. I must be getting somewhere near the center of the earth. Let me see. That would be 4,000 miles down, I think. Yes, that's about the right distance. But then I wonder what latitude and longitude I've got to. Oh, how queer I feel, to be sure. I don't feel quite the same as before. A bit taller, perhaps? Oh, the ground seems much farther away from my head than it usually is. Have I grown a meter? 73 centimeters? I never was very astute at measuring height, but I nevertheless am shorter. Maybe not so, but taller. I wonder where I am. I don't see the white rabbit. But I do see Amanda Grin materializing in that tree. Why, look! That grin now has a cat attached to it. Hello, cat. Would you mind?
I don't recognize you. You're new to Wonderland, aren't you? Who are you? No, I'd rather like to know, what are you? You're no ferret, I dare say. You're certainly no Bandersnatch. You're not Bill the Lizard, are you? Haven't seen that fellow in a while.
Well,
Well, what are you? I can see you're trying to make up something.
Well, I'm a little girl. Just not as little as I was this morning.
So you're something different then?
I suppose so, but I don't know what.
If you don't know, then I certainly can't tell you.
Can you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?
That depends a good deal on where you want to get to.
I don't much care where,
Then it doesn't matter which way you go.
so long as I get somewhere.
Oh, you're sure to do that if you only walk long enough.
You see, I was following this white rabbit, and
Oh, if it's a rabbit you're looking for, he went in that direction past the tea party of the Hatter and the March Hare.
which of the two do you think would be more likely to help me find the white rabbit?
It doesn't much matter. In any case, they're both mad.
I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad.
How do you know I'm mad?
You must be, or you wouldn't have come here.
Then how do you know you're mad?
To begin with, a dog's not mad, you grant that.
I suppose so.
Well, then you see a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. Now I growl when I'm pleased and wag my tail when I'm angry.
I call it purring, not growling.
Call it what you like.
I didn't know that cats grinned. In fact, I didn't know that cats could grin.
We all can, and most of us do.
I don't know of any that do.
You don't know much, and that's a fact.
The cat! It's evaporated into thin air! Dear, dear, how queer everything is today. And yesterday things went on just as usual. I wonder if I've been changed in the night. Let me think. Was I the same when I got up this morning? I almost think I can remember feeling a little different, but I'm not sure if I am the same. The next question is, who in the world am I? That's the great puzzle. Oh, this must be the mad tea party with the cat that was talking about. I can't imagine there being another Hatter and March Hare at tea. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I was wondering if you have...
No room, no room. Tell her, Hatter.
That's right, no room here.
There's plenty of room. Why, this table is set for at least a dozen, and there are only 2 of you. I'm going to sit in this large armchair right here.
Have some wine?
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any.
Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
Wasn't very civil of you to sit down at the table without being invited.
No, it was your table.
Your hair needs cut.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It's very rude.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
Now we shall have some fun. I believe I can guess that.
Do you mean you think you can find out the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Well, then you should say what you mean.
I do. At least I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know.
Not the same thing at all. You might just as well say that I see what I eat is the same as I eat what I see.
You might just as well say that I like what I get is the same thing as I get what I like.
You might just as well say that I breathe when I sleep is the same thing as I sleep when I breathe.
Precisely. By the way, what day of the month is it?
The 4th.
Ha, 2 days wrong.
It can't be. Let me see your watch. What a funny watch. It tells the day of the month, but it doesn't tell what hour it is.
Why should it? Does your watch tell you what year it is?
Of course not. But that's because it stays the same year for such a long time together.
Which is just the case with mine.
I don't quite understand you.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
Oh, no, I give up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Nor I.
I think you might do something better with the time than waste it in asking riddles that have no answers.
Oh, well, if you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him.
I don't know what you mean.
Of course you don't. I dare say you've never spoke to time.
Perhaps not, but I know I have to beat time when I learn music.
Ah, that accounts for it. He won't stand beating, you see. Now, if you only kept good terms with him, he'd do almost anything you'd like with a clock.
For instance, suppose it were 9 o'clock in the morning, just time to begin lessons. You'd only have to whisper to time, and round goes the clock in a twinkling. 4:30, time for dinner.
That would be grand, certainly. Oh, but then, as it had just been breakfast, I shouldn't be very hungry for dinner yet, you know.
Not at first, perhaps, but you could keep it at 4:30 as long as you liked.
Is that the way you manage?
Not anymore. We quarreled last March. It was at the great concert given by the Queen of Hearts, and I had to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Bat, How I Wonder What You're At. You know the song, perhaps?
Something like it.
It goes on, you know, in this way. Up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. Well, I'd hardly finished the first verse when the Queen jumped up and bawled out, "He's murdering the time! Off with his head!"
How dreadfully savage!
And ever since that, he won't do a thing I ask. It's always 6 o'clock now.
Is that the reason so many tea things are put out here?
That's it, yes. It's always tea time, so we never have any time to wash the things.
Then you keep moving round the table, I suppose.
Exactly so. As the things get used up.
Well, what happens when you come to the beginning again?
I suppose we change the subject. Here, girl, have some more tea.
I haven't had any yet, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more of nothing.
Nobody asked your opinion.
Ah, who's making personal remarks now?
Now, really, I don't think...
Then you shouldn't talk.
You can enjoy this tea yourselves. I'm leaving.
All right, so long.
I mean it. That was undoubtedly rude and uncalled for, and I won't stand for it.
Well, you are standing up now.
Because I'm leaving.
So you said, and yet you're still here.
Ugh, goodbye. But I will drink this tea first. It would be rude of me not to. Oh dear. What an odd feeling. Oh, what's happening? Everything is growing much bigger, or I'm growing much smaller. It must be that tea. It's making me change again. Oh, I'm shrinking. But how much am I going to shrink? What if it ends in my going out altogether, like a candle? Oh, can you help me? Can either of you help me?
More tea, Hare?
Yes, here.
Fine. Well, they're no help. I'll never come here again. This has been the stupidest tea party I ever was at in all my life. Now look at me. I'm no more than 3 inches tall. Come now. There's no use in crying like that. I advise you to leave up this minute. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. A great girl like you to go on crying this way. Stop this moment, I tell you. It's no use now to pretend to be two people. Why, there's hardly enough of me left to make one respectable person. Now, Alice, regain your composure. In any case, you've stopped shrinking. So simply figure out where you are and where to go next. Maybe I can find someone who can help me make me again. Well, what do you see around you? Oh, everything is so large. I see many overbearing trees, some beautiful but strange flowers, and what's that over there? It looks like a mushroom about my height, and it looks like there's a caterpillar on top of it. Oh, hello there.
Who are you?
I hardly know, sir. Just a present. At least I know who I was when I got up this morning, but I think I must have changed several times since then.
What do you mean by that? Explain yourself.
I can't explain myself, I'm afraid, sir, because I'm not myself, you see.
I don't see.
I'm afraid I can't put it more clearly, for I can't understand it myself to begin with. And being so many different sizes in a day is very confusing.
It isn't.
Well, perhaps you haven't found it so yet. But when you have to turn into a chrysalis, and you will someday, you know, and then after that into a butterfly, you would think you'd feel it a little queer, won't you?
Not a bit.
Well, perhaps your feelings may be different. But all I know is it would feel very queer to me.
You. Who are you?
I think you ought to tell me who you are first.
Why?
Never mind.
Come back. I've something important to say.
Yes?
Keep your temper.
Is that all?
No.
Well?
So, you think you've changed, do you?
I'm afraid I have, sir. I can't remember things like I used to. And I can't stay the same size for 10 minutes together.
What size do you want to be?
No, I'm not particular as to size. Only one doesn't like changing so often, you know?
I don't know. Are you content now?
Well, I should like to be a little larger, sir, if you wouldn't mind. 3 inches is such a wretched height to be.
It is a very good height indeed. I am exactly 3 inches high.
But I'm not used to it. I wish the creatures here wouldn't be so easily offended.
You'll get used to it in time. One side will make you grow taller, and the other side will make you grow shorter.
One side of what? The other side of what?
Of the mushroom.
The mushroom is so perfectly round, I'm not sure where the two sides are. I guess I'll try over here. What a curious feeling. Like I'm opening up like a telescope. And where did that caterpillar go? Oh, I can't see him from up here. I must have grown 20 feet at least. I'm taller than I've ever been or ever imagined being.
You there? You elongated creature with the lengthy neck?
Oh, it's the white rabbit.
Who are you?
Well, that seems to be the great trouble indeed. Since I've been in Wonderland, I've been many things. A lost traveler, an unwanted guest. I've been 3 inches short and 20 feet tall. So I'm not entirely sure who I am anymore.
If you don't know who you are, do you know who you're not?
I'm sure I'm not my friend Ada. For her hair goes in such long ringlets, and mine don't go into ringlets at all. And I'm sure I can't be Mabel, for I know all sort of things, and she knows such a very little. Besides, she's she, and I'm I. Oh dear, how puzzling it all is.
Yes, quite puzzling indeed. Perhaps you can tell who you are by what you do know?
Maybe. Let me see. 4 times 5 is 12, and 4 times 6 is 13, and 4 times 7 is... Oh, no, I'll never get to 20 at that rate. Let's try geography. London is the capital of Paris. Paris is the capital of Rome, and Rome... No, that's all wrong. I'm certain. Maybe I have been changed into Mabel. I'm sure I knew the capitals when I was Alice this morning.
Alice? The Alice? Figured late, you gargantua girl. Follow me now.
Follow you? Where are we going? Wait for what?
The trial, of course.
Of course? What trial? What are you talking about?
You are the main witness in the trial of the Queen of Hearts versus the Hatter over the matter of the missing tarts. The king will be presiding. Now, do be on your best behavior. These proceedings are very serious.
On order! Order, I mean. Order! Order in the court!
I demand restitution for my stolen tarts! Off with his head!
In good time, darling. Herald, read the accusation.
The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer day. The tarts were nabbed, the Hatter blabbed, and brought to court today.
Now, jury, consider your verdict.
Not yet. There's a great deal to come before that.
Really? Well then, call the defendant.
The Hatter will take the stand.
Beg pardon, Your Majesty, for bringing my tea in. I hadn't quite finished my cup when I was sent for.
Well, you ought to have finished. When did you begin?
14th of March, I think.
Take off your hat.
It isn't mine.
Stolen?
I keep them to sell. I've none of my own. I'm a hatter.
Explain, Hatter. What happened to my wife's tarts? And don't be nervous, or I'll have you executed on the spot.
I'm a poor man, Your Majesty. And about a week ago, I was having my tea when the White Rabbit came around and said that...
I did it.
You did.
I deny it.
Then I said it.
That's right.
Said what?
That I can't remember.
You must remember, or I'll have you executed.
I'm a poor man, Your Majesty.
You're a very poor speaker.
Off with his head!
Really dreadful, the way all these creatures argue. It's enough to drive one crazy.
Sit down, Hatter. Herald, call the first witness.
Alice!
Here!
We called Alice. You can't be Alice.
But I am Alice.
I heard that Alice was no more than 3 inches tall.
I heard she was bigger than 3 inches, but nowhere near as big as this.
So, who are you?
I am Alice. I can't say how or why I keep changing, but I still feel like me. I'm not Ada or Mabel after all. I'm Alice.
Oh, very well then. What do you know about this business?
Nothing.
Nothing whatever?
Nothing whatever.
That's very important.
Unimportant, Your Majesty, means, of course.
Unimportant. Of course, I meant. Important, unimportant, important. But according to the rules of the court, number 42, all persons over a mile high must leave the court.
Not a mile high.
You are?
Nearly 2 miles high.
Well, I shan't go at any rate. Besides, that's not a regular rule. You invented it just now.
It's the oldest rule in the book.
Then it ought to be rule number 1.
Gentlemen of the jury, consider your verdict.
There's more evidence to come yet, Your Majesty, please. This paper has just been picked up.
What's in it?
I haven't opened it yet, but it seems to be a letter written by the Hatter to somebody.
Yes, well, it must have been that, unless it was written to nobody, which isn't usual, you know.
Who is it directed to?
It isn't directed at all. In fact, there's nothing written on the outside. It isn't a letter after all. It's a set of poetry verses.
Are they in the Hatter's handwriting?
No, they're not. And that's the queerest thing about it.
He must have imitated someone else's hand.
Please, Your Majesty, I didn't write it, and you can't prove I did. There's no name signed at the end.
If you didn't sign it, that only makes matters worse. You must have had some mischief in mind, or else you would have signed your name like an honest man.
That proves his guilt.
There's nothing of the sort. Why, you don't even know what the poem's about.
Harold, read the poem.
There's not much point in that, Your Majesty. I don't believe there's an atom of meaning to it.
Ah, well, if there's no meaning in it, that saves a world of trouble, as we needn't try to find any.
What a ridiculous trial this is! And over what? Tarts? How important can they be? Besides, there's a whole tray of tarts on that table right there.
Why, there they are. Nothing could be clearer than that. The Queen's tarts have been found. Let the jury consider their verdict.
No. Sentence first. Verdict afterwards.
Stuff and nonsense! The idea of having the sentence first?
Hold your tongue!
I won't.
Off with her head!
Scared of you. As you said, I'm 2 miles tall. Why should I worry about you?
Guards! Seize her!
Don't you understand? These guards are mere inches. They don't mean anything to me. I'm so tired of being ordered about by cats and rabbits.
Look!
What's happening?
She's growing!
I almost wish I hadn't gone down that rabbit hole. It was much pleasanter at home, when one wasn't always growing larger and smaller.
It's getting bigger!
She'll be too big for the courthouse.
And yet, it's rather curious, you know, how this sort of thing happens. I used to fancy all these things in fairy tales, and now here I am in the middle of one.
Everyone, get out of the court!
It's going to collapse!
You know what? I'm gonna grow up and I'll write a book about me. There should be a book. There I ought.
Breaking through the ceiling.
Alice!
Alice, no!
What are you doing? Alice! Alice! Alice? Alice, dear. Oh, wake up, darling.
Oh, Mother! Oh, I'm so happy to see you. I've had the most illogical dream of the most illogical place. Oh.
What did you find, dear? What world were you in?
Well, again, it was so strange. I found a tea party that never could end. I found a cat that could grin. It was only a grin. And then I always found that everywhere I went, I kept changing. And I never knew how or why.
What a fascinating story. I'm sure you'll tell it many times. But for now, I'm afraid we must return to our lessons.
Oh. It's a relief to see this lesson book again. Although, it was a relief not to see it too.
It doesn't bother you to return to this information for big girls?
You know, even if I do become a big girl, at least I'll be fine knowing not who I am right now. Even if I don't know who that is.
That was Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Adapted for audio by John Wojtechko. Directed by John Wojtechko and produced by Thomas Marinchak. The cast in order of appearance was Dolores Manuel as Alice's mother and the Queen of Hearts. Caroline Friend as Alice. Asher Yautz as the White Rabbit and the Caterpillar. Chris Paluzzi as the Cheshire Cat and the Mad Hatter. And Paul Fox as the March Hare and the King of Hearts. Foley and sound design by Joseph Adams and Jacob Gorsich. Original music composed by John Wojtechko and mastered by Joseph Adams. A production of We Are One Body Audio Theater.